Do you love being active, working out, focusing on fitness, yet find yourself constantly fatigued? Is the routine getting stale, or are you no longer progressing? I hate it when this happens, and I've had this happen countless times through years of training. The gym is my sacred place. It's a time to focus on nothing and clear my head from the stresses of life. If you feel this, a deload may be needed. If you can relate, this video is for you. When it is no longer a break from real life, that is when you should consider deloading. Sometimes training harder is not best for your body, and we have to be smarter to maximize results. This content will cover what a deloading period is, different types of deloads, and if one is even necessary, with possible benefits explained. Stick around to the end to hear all the variables that can influence results. For starters, if you've been training and lifting weights for a while, you're putting a strain on your body's many systems. When you go through a deload period, you're reducing your training and trying to mitigate physiological and psychological stress and fatigue. This period of lighter training is designed to be a kind of active recovery or period of recovery to lead to better results later on. The goal is that it will enhance your ability to train harder afterwards. For purposes of this content, I will refer to it as lighter weeks, unloading, deloading, different ways to describe this rest period. A recent 2023 study states, although no clear consensus definition exists, deloading has been described as a short-term period of reduced training volume and intensity designed to mitigate fatigue and improve training outcomes. Deloading is most likely to be used at the end of a mesocycle of training. Deloading can generally be used every 4 to 6 weeks for a period of 7 days, although deloads can range. They can be as simple as taking a single training session off up to 2 weeks. It's generally thought that periods of training without sufficient recovery may also contribute to the risk of training-related injury. End of quote. At this point, please let us know if this content so far is applicable to you and what other topics you would like to hear more about. I think that in my own training, I can tend to get preoccupied with the mindset of working harder, getting sore, or simply not wanting to do less sets than I did in a previous workout. It's an easy cycle of thinking that we can fall into. We are inundated with videos of people on social media pushing hard, no rest days, and pushing their bodies to the brink, a constant kind of grind culture. To clarify, there is a place for hard training. However, there must be balance, and it can be easy to forget that the growth and physique improvements actually happen when we go home, rest, and recover. We need a rest that we don't have long, painstaking plateaus. The best remedy to break plateaus is to be smarter, not tearing things. In many sports and different activities, it's generally accepted that you need rest time or an off season. Athletes in all sports take a prolonged period in which they cut back to give their bodies a break. If you're a fitness enthusiast, athlete, into bodybuilding, whatever it may be, the same overarching principle should apply. To clarify, I'm not saying to do nothing, but instead have shorter periods of light strength training or active recovery, such as walking. Lifting weights, strength training, physique training, and overall muscular strength and aesthetics should be no exception to incorporate this to enhance performance over the long run to promote longevity. There's potential to put in a little less work and possibly increase or maintain muscle just by doing slightly less. So, what can a deload look like? The goal is to lower intensity to help optimize results. The goal is to decrease either the weights or the reps a little. Both your nervous systems and muscles can use a reset. You're trying to prepare and maximize the success of your next intense training cycle. The process can help you to adapt so you can prevent or avoid injury and illness. Now, is a deload week, day, or any kind of deload a good idea? Which is best? To answer this, we have to keep in mind the different things that can be impacted, both fitness and fatigue. We, of course, are trying to improve our muscular fitness and strength, and the goal of a deload would be to allow for optimal recovery for these. When we work to improve our fitness, we also inflict damage on our muscles, nervous system, and create metabolic waste. When we want a high amount of improved fitness, we are human and need to rest some to avoid fatigue. Everyone's a little different in what we can handle. However, no one can max out, then come back the next day and expect to max out again and improve right after. This is not how things work. The workout and maxing out do not make you less strong. Your body just needs the time to fight and recover from fatigue. This applies to an overall deload as well. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Share with your workout-loving friends. As always, thanks for watching. Moving on, one problem with deloads is that there is not necessarily a lot of research. A lot of it's anecdotal. We don't have a ton of information from real-world results. However, we do have some recent research looking at 39 individuals who took a 1-week deload in the middle of a 9-week program. They compared this to a group who did the same 9-week program with no deload. Overall, there was not a big increase in strength or muscle from one group to the other. The use and implementation of a 1 week deload period at the midpoint of a 9-week training block showed similar increases in lower body muscle size, endurance, and power. This might leave you thinking, is time off and rest useless? I would say there are some caveats to consider. For example, it was just a 1 week deload. It was only 39 people, and we need to remember the timing of the rest in the middle. They could have placed the deload earlier or later in the training. It could have been 2 days, 2 weeks. You get the idea. Lots of variables to consider. One deload cannot tell us how effective or fatigue that could be accumulated. It does not even tell us how often to deload over a period of a year, for example. Potentially, strength gains and need of recovery could differ over a longer period. You could also reduce volume in a deload as compared to a complete cessation of exercise. While the study showed a deload did not have an effect, more variables need to be manipulated and tested. On the bright side, if you were worried about losing muscle gained, progress in the gym, and strength, you now know that you can at least take a week off and it won't hurt you too much. Maybe it's not a good idea to arbitrarily plan a deload at 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but instead wait until you feel like you need one. You and only you know when your body's fatigued and when it needs a break. Now, let's dive into the types of deloads. There are 4 main ways to deload. I think the third and fourth ones are the most effective, but that's just my opinion. The first way to deload is what we discussed, that the new research looked into, the dreaded full week off in which you do not touch a single barbell or dumbbell. This one was regarded as the gold standard back in the day to recover. Basically, make sure you don't move. Now the thought is that some more active recovery, walking, getting a little blood to the muscles is a good thing over a light rest period. The research shows that 1 week off won't hurt you. The second way to structure deload is what we know as tapering off, or a taper week, in which you cut volume down some, but still have a high intensity in your workouts. It's still a hard workout, just less of it. You're training heavy, just cutting the sets in half and doing some compound lifts with less extra sets. This would be something that powerlifters experiment with or try to work up to PR to maintain freshness. For example, if you normally do 4 to 6 working sets of a heavy deadlift or squat, cut that back to 2 or 3 instead. The third way to structure a deload is one I would personally recommend. This is a moderate, not too drastic reduction in the intensity and volume of your training session. I would recommend dropping the volume by 30 to 50%. This would be taking a set or 2 off. If you normally do 4 sets of squat, cut that back to 2 working sets after a warm-up. Should basically be a light week in which you can cut a few reps out and allow your body to recover. You're working at almost half volume. The fourth option, my personal favorite, is to just listen to your body. Do not specifically structure how much less volume or what week you will take it off. Instead, just rest as needed. If you're more fatigued or sore than normal, take a break. This could be taken anywhere from 1 to 4 days off as needed, or even a couple days off every week. This is from my own personal experience. You may find when you're training hard, you need to break things up every week or 2, or you might be fine for a couple months. Everyone's different. There's no set in stone rule, just listen to your body. Now I'll cover some of the main possible benefits of carving a deload into your workout schedule. First, you should see a decreased amount of inflammation. Some inflammation is good as your body changes and adapts. However, too much is not a good thing. If you're lifting weights every day, you will inevitably get some minor aches and pains. These could just be annoying or force you to change your weightlifting routine entirely. Unloading some of the weight you use or taking some time off can allow your body to fully recover so your joints, tendons, and muscles can come back and be more recovered. You can also improve your ratio of testosterone and or estrogen to cortisol ratio by unloading. Testosterone, cortisol, and estrogen are all from the same source, pregnenolone. If you have too much stress and cortisol, this can lower your overall level of this main hormone that produces it all. This will then naturally lower the testosterone and estrogen that your body needs in healthy doses. So if you deload, lower stress, and allow your body the time it needs, your natural levels of the needed hormones should then increase. Another benefit is an increasingly strong immune system. If your cortisol gets out of whack, it can wreak havoc and make you more susceptible to getting sick. Your immune system also helps with muscular repair, so it's important that it remains strong and intact. If you take some lighter weeks, you will also help your heart health. If you are to the point where you're overtraining, getting too much volume could impact your heart rate variability. Having issues with your heart rate can lead to cardiovascular disease and or diabetes, which is the opposite of everything we're trying to do by staying in shape and being healthy. Generally, the higher your heart rate variability, the better. Overtraining can do the opposite and lower it. By scheduling a periodic deload, you can help keep your heart healthy and in a good range. My personal favorite is to bust through plateaus. One of the main goals with training is to bust through plateaus and feel stronger. Most of the time we want to increase volume, weight lifted, repetitions, or add new frequencies to the routine to increase muscle. On the flip side of this leaves you always feeling fatigued. You will no longer progress. Give your body time to rest. It'll allow you to come back stronger and push more once fully healed or more healed. Last but not least, make sure to deload to help your mental health. As someone who loves fitness, is always chasing a goal, it can be taxing to work out hard all the time every day. If you push too hard all the time, you might start enjoying workouts less or even not enjoy them at all. While it's important to be disciplined even when not motivated, it does take some motivation to sustain getting after it. Look at the deload as a time to rejuvenate and get the motivation back and to get back to grinding. So, in summary, exactly how effective is a deload and what is the exact time you should rest? Despite more scientific knowledge exploring deloading, more in-depth research is still needed. So, what we don't 100% know yet, there are some good ideas, and from personal experience, I've seen it help. The whole idea behind a deload is for your body to recover and then optimize performance afterwards. While deloads are definitely not useless, it is yet to be determined as to how useful they are. I feel they help me personally, but I'm just one person. Let me know if you like or have tried incorporating deloads into your training. Leave comments below. I found that when I mix it in, I don't feel as fatigued, don't lose progress, and often come back just as strong, if not stronger. Maybe it's just an excuse and I need to bench or deadlift more. I guess the jury's still out on this one. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Share with your workout and deload loving friends. As always, thanks for watching. Our goal is to bring practical fitness advice to everyday people. Don't forget to take breaks to keep your body running smoothly. Check out our other videos for additional help with workouts, nutrition, and supplements.